Hey, what's happening, y'all? It's your old pal, Mr. Butter, coming back at you again. Today, I want to get into a great looking colorway on one of my all-time favorite silhouettes. I want to take a look at the Howard University Jordan 1 lows. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's get into these Jordan 1 lows. So I plan on getting this video up Friday evening. I'm recording it a couple of days ahead of time, but overall it seems like it's going to be a pretty quiet week aside from the planes going overhead. As far as sneaker releases go, it's going to be a pretty quiet week. I think the only ones that really have my attention are the Kobe 5 X-Rays. I would like to get my own personal pair of those. I'll be going after them. I do have a couple of raffle entries at Kith and Alma Maniere. They did the EQL raffle. I think that's all I entered for, but then if I don't hit there, I'll also try on the sneakers app. I have no idea how easy they'll be to get, and hopefully if some of y'all want them, then you're able to get them for retail. Another shoe that I keep going back and forth on from this week is the New Balance 1906, the Bricks and Wood. If I gotta be honest, I'm not really feeling the way they look in pictures too much. However, I am such a big fan of the Bricks and Wood 9060, and I just feel like they knocked those out of the park. I think this 1906 is based off of a butterfly or something. It might be one of those pairs that when you get them in hand, they're way better than what you realized. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll go after them. Maybe I won't. I think those are dropping on Friday the 18th. Let me know if y'all are going after anything this week. Let me know if I'm leaving anything out. I think that's it. Aside from that, I got this pair delivered. I got another pair delivered from GOAT, which will probably be my Sunday morning review, and I am so pumped about them. Let me know if you can guess what it is down in the comments, but it's a pair that has been on my radar. There's been some confusion about the drop. Maybe that'll give it away, but Sunday morning, stay tuned, because there's a pair in there that I absolutely love and I can't wait to share with y'all. But like always, let me know if you grabbed anything this week or if I'm leaving anything out. Those were really the only pairs that had my attention, and typically I like to do a shoes that got delivered this week short or something like that, but I just haven't had the time. This week's been crazy. I got sick kids and just all kinds of stuff going on. But anyhow, let's get to these shoes that you're here to see. This is what they're calling the Howard University Jordan 1 Low. When I first got this, the box immediately reminded me of the Fragment Travis Scott Jordan 1 Lows, but of course those have a sleeve over top of them. But just as they've been doing with Jordan 1 boxes lately, they did match the color to the shoes. It might be hard to tell because of how the shade and the sun is right now, but this is blue. The Nike branding is in a flat finish, but then the rest of the color is kind of like a sail or a off-white color, and that's on a glossy finish. But I love it whenever they match the shoes and the box. It's something little, but I feel like it's easy enough for them to do, and I hope we continue to see that. The drop for these was a little bit weird. I was hoping to get these at my local Finish Line, and I kept watching release dates on Finish Line. You can look at the release calendar to see what's coming, and they had these listed. They didn't have a picture, but they had the Jordan 1 Low OG and the colors listed, and it was very clearly the Howard, or what they're calling the Howard Jordan 1 Lows. But then the day of the release, whenever I went to get them from Finish Line, they were nowhere to be found. And I was really hoping to get them from Finish Line because I always like using status rewards and getting a little discount. But I had to grab these from the sneakers app just because I couldn't find them anywhere online at Finish Line, so I just went to the next place I could think of. I don't really know what numbers were. I don't know if they sold out, but what I do know is that on the resale market, you can get these for right around retail, maybe even a little bit less than retail. So I'm all about that. I think retail was $140 or $150 on these. The tag reads Air Jordan 1 Retro Low OG, and the colors are listed as Summit White and Gem Red. I went with my true to size 10 on these. On Jordan 1 highs, I can go up a half size, but on Jordan 1 lows, I stick with my true to size, because if I go any bigger, then it feels like I'm swimming in them. And here they are. I think these are absolutely beautiful. And I know people are calling these the Howard University Jordan 1 lows. This is not a collab of any way, shape, or form. There's no Howard branding. I don't think Howard is connected to these in the least bit, but I guess it is the Howard University colors. Another reason why I think people are referring to these as the Howard University Jordan 1 lows is just because I think years ago there was a PE that looked kind of like this, but I think that it was all red overlays aside from the swoosh. I think the swoosh on those PEs was blue, but the rest of the overlays were all red. So even that, I don't really think these look like the PEs. These don't really remind me of the PEs at all. I think these are beautiful, but this colorway reminds me more of the Jordan 6 Olympics that we just saw. Like, I think this colorway matches those better than the Howard University PEs. Howard University, of course, is a college. I don't know if it's in DC or Northern Virginia. If it's not in Washington, DC, then it's really close to there. But one of the only reasons why I know about Howard University is because every now and then through the years they would have like a sneakers pass at Howard University where you have to be within a certain distance of the actual campus. And I always ask my brother, like, hey, where you at, whenever it's a shoe that I really want, because they never do sneaker passes in West Virginia, but he lives real close to DC, so sometimes if they're dropping something and you have to be in that location, I'll reach out and I'll be like, hey, are you anywhere near there? Jordan Brand has had a long connection to Howard University, but aside from these colors kind of matching the Howard colors, I don't think there's any connection in these shoes to Howard University aside from just the colors remind you of their colors. Immediately out of the box, I noticed that I like the materials. I wouldn't call them premium, but I would say that they're a little bit better than the norm compared to what we're used to getting on Jordan 1 highs or lows. And I also like the combination that they did of tumbled leather, like for the overlays, like you can see on that blue for the mudguard, and then the swoosh, and then the more smooth leather for the base. I just like that difference in texture. Another thing that's a little bit different that I really liked is that red swoosh that we have embroidered onto that blue mudguard. I just like that little pop, and it's a little something to grab your attention. A lot of people are really tired of Jordan 1s, whether it's highs, lows, whatever. If it's not a Travis Scott, they're not interested. But I like having a little touch like that that just makes it stand out from the rest. Before I forget to mention, these did come with sail laces in here, and they actually feel like they're waxed laces, which I really like. Again, that's a small touch, but it makes them feel like a little bit more special of a shoe. But then they also came with a spare set of navy blue laces, but these are just really soft. These don't have that wax coating like we see on the sail laces that were already in the shoe. I'll probably just store these away somewhere and keep those sail laces in that it came with. But really, the rest of the review is going to be pretty standard. It's got your same traction pattern that we're used to getting on Jordan 1s, whether it's a high, mid, or a low. It's in a nice navy color. We've got the pivot point in the front, Nike branding at the midfoot, but it's in that nice dark navy and it looks nice. Same thing that we always get, nothing out of the ordinary. As we come up to the midsole, I guess instead of sail, this is Summit White. It might be a little bit lighter than sail, a little bit closer to just white. I like the way that cream color goes with the red and the blue on the upper, and it looks like the stitching matches that midsole as well. Just looks real nice and clean. I do think the QC seems to be really good on this pair. As we come to the upper, we can see these navy overlays here on the front of the shoe, the mug guard going up the eye stays, and then the swoosh. And as I pointed out, hopefully you can see it's got just a little bit of texture on that navy leather, and it does feel soft. It's actually a pretty decent material, which I'm always a fan of. And again, I really like that pop of color for that little red swoosh that we have embroidered onto the mug guard there. On the heel, we have some red leather overlays, and again, that's got a little bit of that tumble texture like we see on the blue leather. We see that on the bottom of the heel and then up here near the collar. And then we've got the Wings logo in navy blue stitching embroidered on there. And I really like the contrast of those two colors. I think that Wings logo looks really nice in that blue up against the red background. Then for our base leather, that is a white, or maybe that's a Summit White as well. It does look like it's a little bit lighter than what we have on the midsole, but I'm not sure if it's bright white or not. It does look like it's a smoother material than what we have for the overlays, but if you press on it, then you can see those ripples that I love seeing, because typically that just lets you know it is a pretty soft material. The more I look at this leather, the more I like it, and it actually does seem like it's a pretty decent material. But on the toe box, we have all those perforations like we always get on Jordan 1s, and then you can see that white leather on the side panels underneath that swoosh as well. We have a standard Jordan 1 tongue. It's kind of like a nylon material, and this is white, but it's kind of the see-through material, so you can see the orangish tint from the foam within the tongue kind of peeking through there. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but compared to the toe box and then the tongue, you can definitely see that the tongue has a little bit more of an off-white shade to it. We have off-white piping going along the edges of the tongue, and then we have a white tag with red Nike branding on it. And then for our sock liner, it's kind of got a little bit of a satin kind of feel to it. So again, I'm glad I went true to size, because if I would have gone a half size up in these, my heel would probably slip out of there. But it does, again, kind of take these up just a notch, because it seems like a nicer material than what we get sometimes. That's in a navy color, and then down on the insole, that is a navy color, and again, we have some red Nike Air branding. But that was a pretty quick rundown of these Howard University Jordan 1 lows. Let me know what you think of these. Let me know if you picked anything up this week. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will catch y'all on the next one. I'm out.